This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Bwaaa!
Bwaaa tracks fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Bwaaa.
Bwaaa.
I am Mike, and this is
Rusty.
Rusty. We are doing this remotely today.
Yeah, we're doing another little remote special for you guys.
Yeah, I had to go to Houston the last couple of days and just got back, and so we weren't able to coordinate the studio, so we're doing this one remote, but Friday we should be in the studio again, just like normal.
Yeah, for sure.
So season 4, episode 18. Won't you pee my neighbor?
Yeah,
Am I
my
saying that
neighbor,
correctly?
Or well, probably not. I imagine it's like my is probably how that's pronounced. It's probably like Pimai or something, or May or my, maybe is how that's pronounced. That AI. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, they say it at one point, but I don't know. I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't follow along.
It's the Laotian New Year.
Yeah,
is what that is. Yeah.
Pimai, won't you Pimai man? I don't know. All right, so we start this
Laotian New Year, my
Laotian
neighbor.
New Year, my neighbor. That's it. You got it. All right, so we start this thing. No bell, no yell. We are in the alley with all 4 folks. Bill takes one of the beer cans and sticks it on Dale's neck, and Dale's like, "Don't cold can me." And they all laugh, and it's a real good time, I guess. It's just another example of these guys just kind of farting around out in the alleyway. Up comes Khan, and he's handing out invites. Now, these little invites, they say, the Sousa News and Phones cordially invite you to attend a Pimai party. And he says, here you go, RSVP. He's talking to all 4 of these guys. He said it means respondez-vous s'il vous plaît, which in redneck means pick up the phone, call, and give me a head count for a big Laotian New Year's party. Hank, who's never heard of this, says, New Year's party? We're not falling for a New Year's party in April, Con. He thinks he's trying to get to the hillbillies. Dale says, we are not April Fools. Khan responds with, you're as dumb as chimps. Laotians use lunar calendars, so our new year come in April. It's called Pimai. And then Bill says, so when do you pay your taxes? August? Which I thought was pretty good.
That is good. That is pretty good.
Khan responds with, okay, this is real simple. You all come to my big Pimai party, get out of your stinking pig pens for a night, see what it's like to live in a Pottery Barn catalog. You ever been in a Pottery Barn?
No, but I've been in that World Food Market, and I imagine that's probably similar with some of the stuff they have in there.
It's a lot of like, they a lot of also, what was the other one? Pier 1. It's kind of like that, like a Pier 1 or it's a lot of that stuff. A lot of people in sweaters draped over their shoulders or tied around their waists, shopping for very expensive furniture. So Hank says, so Khan's party, Khan's already walked off. He says, okay, so Khan's party is real. I'm going to RSVP. I'm going to RSVP that I'm not going. And then Dale responds with, nope. And Bill says, nuh-uh. And then, or Boomhauer says, nuh-uh. And then Bill says, je réponds non, absolument non. So all of a sudden, Bill can speak French. And I guess
all of a sudden.
Yeah, I guess
the Cajun.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I think it goes back to his Cajun roots.
Because he speaks French there too.
Yeah, yeah, it's really weird how, and we've already had that one episode where he did go to Louisiana. So
Yeah. That's what I'm
I
saying.
guess
Yeah,
he
that
picked up on a
episode.
lot of that while he was there. Next thing we see is we are in the backyard at the Hill House. You got Hank, Peggy, Bobby, Con Jr. all back there. And Bobby says, I'm going to make a Pimai resolution to kiss you every day and to get out more. And he's talking to Connie, of course. And you hear from Con over the fence. He's Con Jr. She says, I better go. If my dad sees us together, he thinks I'm collecting soil samples. So I guess I guess she told him she was off doing something sciencey. Bobby says, your dad's days of hating me are coming to a close. You can hate a kid. Who can hate a kid who can Charleston? And then he starts doing the Charleston, which is just it's the weirdest it's the weirdest thing between
Yeah,
your
this
dad
is
hates
the
me and I can dance.
this is also the first episode of this is the first episode with where they discuss their relationship since the last episode where they kind of like confess their where they had that episode
Yeah.
where they were confessing their love for each other kind of
Yeah,
thing.
over the
This
fence
is
and
like
all
the
that stuff.
first, yeah, the over the fence episode where Hank says get the 10 foot and all that
Yeah.
particular episode. So this is kind of like the first callback to now we get to see them being together instead of them just being friends. So
Yeah.
now it's like them growing, because one of the things that King of the Hill does that again a lot of cartoons don't do is the continuity thing, and this again kind of plays on that continuity as they're getting older, as because Bobby does get older throughout the show because they do go from one school to the next school kind of thing
Yeah.
at one point. And that's
They
what
are
this is. This
good.
is like that evolution.
Yeah, they are good at the continuity. That is that you really have to appreciate the fact that it's a cartoon and
For the
yet
most part. For the most part.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we've caught a couple of production things like where they produce an
sure.
episode before they've released it and they released them
But
in production order, but it's still like the story just seamlessly continues to move forward.
yeah, well, it's still not, Tom and Jerry where they blow up and then the next scene they're fine. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
anything
yeah,
like that. So
yeah, yeah.
Peggy sees Bobby doing the Charleston, which that's got to be a red flag to a parent. Peggy says, Hank, we are going to that party. They are Connie's parents, and it's not like there's a stream of girls lining up to date Bobby. There is one. Hank says, yeah, well, there used to be none. So she says, exactly. That's why we're going to do and pretend like we like Con and men. Now let's practice. I'll be Con. She goes, you are a dumb redneck. He goes, oh, that sounds more like men. He said, Peggy says, leave my wife out of this, hillbilly. He goes, I wish they'd move.
That's my favorite exchange in this whole episode is
I
that
wish
right
they'd
there.
move.
That's really funny. I like that's the first that you don't get very many moments where you see Hank expressing humor. And that's what I like about this. Him and Peggy having a humorous moment together. Two of the most unhumorous people on the show having a humorous moment together is fun.
Absolutely. I just love I wish they'd move. All right, so now we're in Con's house. They're in the living room and they're trying a dress, or men's trying a dress on Connie, and Connie's like, I'm not wearing that to the Pimai party. I don't know why you buy clothes for me online. Men says Wasana songs might come. They are always chasing the damn Wasana songs.
They are always chasing the Wasana songs.
Oh my gosh. And Connie says chain Wasana song is the biggest shank in our class. Now I don't know what a shank is, but I can infer
I don't either.
from the context clues. Men says they very important family. Ted Wasana song, member of Nine Rivers Country Club. Well, we all know that at this point, man. Con's like, hey, I just get big call. She says, Ted Wasana song? He said, yes, they are coming to our party. And Ted says they're bringing along important monks. She says, Buddhist monks? He goes, yeah, Buddhist, whatever monks. I'll get shrimp. Yeah, big shrimp. These monks are looking for reborn spirit of some lama named Lama Sanglug. Lesser known lama, but still spiritual big shot. Anyway, you slice it. They think he reincarnated in this area. They look all over McManerberry, turn up squat. Ted says all signs point to chain. Okay, so Ted Wasana Song's son is supposedly a reincarnated monk.
Yep. That's what it says. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see.
This is the weirdest.
According to this is Artie's notes here that we've got from him. He says this episode's depiction of Buddhism is relatively wrong. Laotian people like Khan do not make use of the Buddhism title of Lama used by
Oh,
these monks because they study different types of Buddhism. There's I'm going to butcher these pronunciations.
yeah.
There's Theravada,
Okay.
there's Vairagya, and then there's Tibetan. And Laotians are mostly the Theravada, but this episode combines the Vajrayana and Tibetan Buddhist elements
Yeah.
together. So instead of doing the Laotian Buddhists, what Laotian Buddhists are, they combine two different types of Buddhism, and that's how they depict it in this episode, which is probably more to do with how Buddhism is. This is my guess. This isn't like what I've read anywhere or
Yeah.
fact,
Yeah.
but what I feel like in the production is they went with probably what is most known in to them in the States, what was the
Sure.
easiest to research and easiest to
Sure.
study in the United States. And I imagine there's a lot of Tibetan and Vajrayana Buddhists compared to Laotian Buddhists,
Well,
because
the other
Indian
issue,
Buddhists and Tibetan Buddhists.
sure. The other issue is you don't have a Laotian person playing a Laotian on this, and so it would be a little
Yeah,
different, I
too,
guess,
yeah.
if they did it these days. I would assume it would hit a lot closer, you know.
Probably so, yeah.
So she says, "You hear that, Connie? Chain could be a llama, a great leader." Connie says, "What make everybody so sure that Chain is a llama?" Uh, and they said he's second oboe runner up in Westinghouse science contest, and he has terrific posture. Okay, so that makes you a monk.
Yeah.
Connie says, "I'm first violin in Westinghouse winner. How do you know I'm not the llama?" And then Con's just like, Connie a llama. Oh, that'd be amazing. Finally struck up jerk Ted Wasana song. Have to kiss my ass. It's always about getting over on Wasana song or catching even with Wasana song. It's like what do they call it?
Yeah, he's
Keeping
always
up,
got to one up him.
well, it's like keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing, right?
Yeah, for
He just
sure.
has to at any point.
Yeah, and that's the thing is no matter what he does or what he attempts to do to be better than Ted Wasana, he always ends up holding the stick, looking like a jackass.
Well, he's
Especially that callback to the episode where he turns into a redneck and he goes and starts doing MMA fight. Well, not MMA, just backyard fighting. That particular episode right there is because he failed to meet up to some expectation that he set for himself to try to be Wasana Song like,
yeah.
and he always falls short of it. That's the thing I like about him is he always tries to break into that next tax bracket in appearances, but he never really can. He's one of those guys that's at Rent a Center getting the sound system, the couches, and he's just strung out on debt. Yeah, well, that's what I think. I think
That's
he's like
right.
one of those guys that has
Well, I
all
think
this stuff and he's strung out on debt.
I think we see that down the line, right? With the
The radio,
the jukebox and the radio and all
the
that stuff
jukebox and
going
stuff.
on.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've got Khan's backyard. There's a party. The three monks are coming out. The three guys, Dale, Bill, and Boomhauer, are all standing over by the fence drinking beer, of course. The monks come out, and Bill says, "Hey, Hank." Hank says, "Bill." He goes, "Happy Pimai," and then he dumps a cup of water right on Hank's face. And Hank's like, "Oh, damn it, Bill." And then he goes, "Well, that's a Pimai custom." Dale says, "I'm in," and he just throws his beer right on Hank. I don't know how Hank didn't just kick their ass right there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. I feel like he would.
I mean, he does grab them by the collar, and he's like wrestling them, and they're grunting and groaning and stuff. And then out comes Khan. He goes, "Oh, gentle Christian neighbor, as you might hear from my daughter, Sang Lang, Connie, where'd that come from? They throw water on you to wash away the old year and bring luck for the new." So that's what that was all about. Hank drops them both. Then in comes Bobby, and he's like, Connie. And then here comes Connie in a pink dress. He goes, "I saw Chain trying to suck up to the monks by wrapping up a to-go plate." I'm not sure why. She says, "He is such a loser." And then Bobby says, "Talk to the junior monk. He likes oceanography." And who went to oceanography camp? And she says, "Oh, me." Oh, and Chain, or Chan. What's his name? Chain?
Shane.
It's like Shane, but with a C, right?
Yeah, but they pronounce it Shane.
Okay. All right. So it's Shane. Bill runs up to the Khan and the monks, and he goes, "Hey, Khan, I found one of your Heineken sitting in the back of the crisper drawers. Can I have it?" So he's in there going through his fridge. Khan says, "Oh, that's not my beer. I don't drink." And then he just bows to the monks, Bill says, "Men said it was yours." He goes, "Oh, take it, take it. Village idiot in this village. He's really saying something." And yet Connie, my daughter, still read to him. Well, she doesn't read to Bill, but
She doesn't read the bill, but yeah. It would
uh,
be funny if she did, though.
yeah. Then we see Connie coming around the side of the garage, and Shane is over there. He's spinning a basketball on his finger, and she goes, "Good luck trying to be a llama." Shane says, "You don't have to try to be a llama. You either are or you aren't," and I am. She goes, "Why would a llama want to come back as a third oboe?" He says, "Second, Connie." She goes, "Any woodwind." Now I don't know what her problem is with woodwinds, but that's
Well,
a pretty
there's
good burn.
always when I was in band for a little while. So when you're in band, there's always like a rivalry between the sections. And then there's an even bigger rivalry in the sections between like the first three players in that section. So
Oh, sure.
like you always want that first chair kind of thing. And I was actually in a rivalry one time with a guy for first chair for trumpet. And I used to piss the guy off so much because I had a natural ability for music because my whole family's like everybody's all into music and plays instruments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I never had to practice as much as he did, and it would piss him off because I would not really study the music and I would just do like a dry run of the sheet music, and he would have practiced for hours and I would go in and I would take first chair every time and I never even needed to practice.
Yeah.
So it's that same kind of thing here. The third chair oboes and second chair. Who would want to come back as a third chair oboe? Who would want to come back as an oboe
a
player?
woodwind at all? Who would want to be a woodwind? Okay, so we're in Khan's house. Min and the monks are sitting in the living room, and Min says, "And when she little girl, she named her goldfish Lama Sunglung." And the monk says, "We would like to lay out some artifacts for your daughter and the Wasana Song boy to observe. If either child is reincarnated Lama, they will choose correctly." She says, "Oh, yes, the test. I go get her."
So that's like so to become like the Dalai Lama, it's literally just like a 50-50 chance. It's like rolling the dice. They put a bunch of stuff in front of you and you got to pick what it is.
Well, what they're saying, what they go on to say here is that it belonged to the other Lama before he died. And so if they are truly the reincarnated Lama, they'll pick out his object.
Do they make it easy though? Do they put like the ancient artifact and then like a nickel next to it or something so you know which one's which?
In just a second, the thing that Bobby picks up does not seem very old to me. The other monk sitting there as Connie or Min's going to go get Connie, he goes, "I need the keys to the Aerostar." So have you ever owned an Aerostar?
An Aerostar?
Yeah.
I've never owned one, but I've been in one before. Yeah.
I used to own a Ford Aerostar, and I beat the hell out of that thing. I would use it to take things to and from places I was selling stuff, and oh boy, yeah.
We used to ride around.
It's not a classic vehicle.
Yeah, no, we used to ride around in the Chevy component. We used to ride around in the Chevy GMC. My buddy had a GMC Safari that we lived together, so we shared it pretty much. So we used to drive around in the Safari. The Safari died, so we were at a buddy's house, which is in an apartment complex that had a big wooded area behind it, and the balcony from the apartment faced that wooded area. Well, we were all inside playing video games, having a good time, and we step outside to smoke a cigarette on the balcony, and the whole forest is just filled with smoke in front of us. So we're like, well, what the heck's going on? So we hop down and go around to the side of the apartment complex, and the van was on fire.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Waco PD had already shown up. Like we were inside and the van must have caught on fire within like 15 minutes of us being there.
Oh my gosh.
We parked, went inside, all hung out for about an hour, and then stepped on the balcony to smoke a cigarette. And by the time we hopped down and went around, it was already put out. Like they were already in the process of, it was like completely out, and they were just like sitting there writing up paperwork and stuff on it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a car catch on fire.
Never while I've been in it, but we had it was my buddy's van. Well, it had issues with the radiator and stuff like that, and we had to keep like 5 jugs of water in the back. So I mean, instead of getting the radiator,
and we have had those cars. Yeah, we have had those cars. Yeah, absolutely. So we see the monks lay all their bowls and all the items on what essentially is a rug in the yard. Everybody's kind of standing around and watching, and of course Dale, he's like, "Hey, a yard sale. How much for the bell?" Which I thought was a pretty damn good joke.
That is a good one.
the monk responds, "No, this is a test. One of these objects belonged to our revered lama before he died." And they're back there chanting. And he goes, "His reborn spirit will recognize the object and choose it." Dale says, "Oh, let me try. How much is it? $1 a play?" He still thinks it's like a carnival game that they got going on here. By the way, you can tell that the head llama is Stephen Root. He does a good job with the voice, but you can always tell when it's Stephen Root.
Oh yeah, for sure. His voice is one of the most notable ones I think in the whole show.
Yeah. Okay. So then Ted Wasana shows up, with his kid. They're already there, and he says, "Okay, son, you the llama. And then Khan is like, "Watch close. Every monk has a tail." He's telling Connie that. Then Min says, "Hurry, you got to pick before Shane." Hank, he's like, "Hi there. Great to see the kids enjoying a good old pone party." He does his best. He does his best to say it. Oh my gosh. And then they're like, "Oh, out of my way, redneck. It's test time." And Hank says, "Hey, Peggy does it good to you," talking about about Connie or Min. Bobby says, "Uh-oh." She says, "Oh no." And so what they're trying to do is outrun Shane to the items, and he's got a bead on something. And Bobby is trying to make it so that Connie is the first one over there to pick something because he wants her to win, and so he comes up and he goes, I'll stall him. And he picks up basically just a regular crook cane, like a wooden cane that somebody would walk with. It doesn't look like an old thing. It looks like basically something that frog used to use when hello, my baby, hello, my, it's like that kind of cane, right? Yeah.
Warner Brothers frog.
Yeah. So he picks up the cane right before Shane gets there and he goes, "Hey, Shane, bust a move with me." And he starts twirling the cane and everything. And then it happens. The monks all bow to Bobby because they now assume that he is the monk. Yep. So with that, we will take our first commercial break and we'll be right back.
Well, let me tell you, Rusty, eating healthy used to be a struggle for me, but that was before I discovered the BlendJet 2 portable blender.
The BlendJet 2.
Now when fast food temptation strikes, I just blend up a delicious and nutritious protein shaker smoothie. They gave us a whole bunch of those little packages that came with the blender.
Yeah.
And there's some really good flavors in there. I mean, there's some like that matcha thing.
The green matcha?
Yeah, those are pretty damn good. BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up smoothies at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even a margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease. Maybe a human thumb. Don't put your thumb in it. BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. Lasts for 15 plus blends and recharges quickly via USB-C, which has saved us all. There's nothing worse than turning that USB thing over and over and over and over, and then finally finding how it plugs in,
Oh, yeah, I don't like that
USB-C
either. Yes, USB-C saved us all.
Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap, and you're good to go. There's 30 plus colors and patterns to choose from. There's a BlendJet 2 to complement just about any style. We have a pink one? Lavender.
Pink one.
I think ours is lavender.
Mine is the Toy Story Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the Pizza Planet one.
Ooh, that one. Yeah. They've got some really cool colors, but I really like the patterns. I know one of the people here got one that looks like Woody the Sheriff.
Is there a code with them?
There is a code. What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today. Glab it today.
Glibbity glob.
And when you do glab it, make sure you use the promo code
BWAAA12.
That's to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to the quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with the BlendJet 2 portable blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code
BWAAA12
to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever.
BlendJet 2, formerly known as BlendJet.
Hey everyone, it's me, your puzzle-loving pal. Did you know I was a puzzle-loving pal?
I didn't know you were a puzzle-loving pal.
I got to tell you about my latest obsession. It's Wongo puzzles. These things are the real deal. They are high quality, handcrafted, and perfect for anyone who loves a good challenge but doesn't want to dedicate their entire kitchen table to puzzles for a week. Trust me, I have been there. I will tell you this, my parents, they're very old and decrepit, and they make they do puzzles all the damn time.
Yeah.
Like there's always a table that
What
has
else are
like
you
an
gonna do,
unfinished
right?
puzzle. Yeah, it's either that or I don't know.
Die.
Feel your bones. So these puzzles, these Wongo puzzles, they are 100% wooden. They'll last forever. Each piece is hand drawn. Just think about that for a second. Each piece is hand drawn, so no two pieces are the same, and you'll discover some fun whimsy pieces as you work through it.
Whimsy.
They come in a custom wooden box, which is perfect for storage and gifting. Before we started doing this, I didn't realize how many people I know already have these Wongo puzzles. I mean, they're apparently pretty.
You can't go wherever Juan go.
With stunning designs and unique shapes, Wongo puzzles are a cut above the rest. I loved doing the snow globe puzzle myself. It was great to pull out a puzzle and be done in a night and not have it on the table for a week. So what are you waiting for? Let's go to Wongo Puzzles, WONGO puzzles.com, and pick a puzzle today. And be sure to use the promo code
BWAAA
for 10% off your order. It's the most fun you'll have with a puzzle, guaranteed, or your money back. Go to WONGO puzzles.com and use your code
BWAAA
to get 10% off your order and get puzzling right now.
Okay, and we are back. Back from the first commercial break. Bobby is in the midst of being assumed that he is a monk, reincarnated Somlong, and he's like, no, please, get up. He's talking to the monks, right? Because they're all bowing to him now. He said, I'm just a warm-up act. Here, Connie, take the test. And Connie's like, Bobby, you just took the test. He said, no, I didn't.
You took
I didn't.
it and passed.
Yeah, he didn't mean to, right? He goes,
Nope.
Connie, here's your cane. He's trying to hand it to him, and then the monk speaks up. He goes, you have selected correctly, and that cane belonged to Sanglog. And then you can hear the other monks in the background just chanting. He goes, Bobby, we believe you're a very special child. Sanglug was also joyful and given to dance. You could be destined to be a spiritual leader as the reincarnation of Lama Sanglug. And then Hank's like, okay, that's enough. We're going home. Show's over. Bobby says, oh, this is all a big mistake. You don't want me. And the monk says, no, Bobby, today you passed a very important test. Our leader, the Rimnosh, I don't know what that means, will come here next Sunday to confirm our findings. Now, the one that comes, the Rinpoche, Rinpoche. Yeah.
I'll look it up real quick.
That's the one that is Stephen Root, because he comes in and he's got, only way I know to describe it is I've seen like those Aztec headdresses, like the big thing that they used to have on. And so at the end of this, he comes in to verify that Bobby is and that's
What's
definitely
funny,
Stephen Root.
It's funny because it kind of calls back to the Tibetan thing where I talked about being a Tibetan monk and how they talk about like the Buddhism they talk about here is mostly two types that aren't Laotian.
Yeah.
The word means precious one. It's actually a Tibetan honorific term that specifically means precious one. But when you talk about in the terms of Buddhism, it means like a monastic teacher. So it's bestowed upon teachers who have been recognized as the reincarnation of a great teacher.
So I would assume he's the highest on the ladder too, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So if you're a plumber in Buddhism, you have to be recognized as the reincarnation of a great plumber.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
At least that's what I'm getting from this.
Okay. Well, I think it's pretty good. Anyway, he says that they're going to be here next Sunday, and they'll confirm the findings. Hank says, look here, I can't stop you from doing what you do at the airports, but in my neighborhood, y'all stay away from my son. So Hank is completely mixing this up with Hare Krishnas that pass out the flowers and try to get people in the airport. Yeah. Connie says, thanks a lot, Bobby. Bobby's like, but I didn't do anything. That guy in the dress is loco. And he makes like the crazy sign next to his ear. Connie says, that guy's a monk and that dress is a robe and my religion is not a joke. And she's very serious about this, right? Because this is the way she's been brought up. This is her culture. So the monks are like talking with each other and they go, they're not taking this very well. One of us should stay. And then two of the monks whisper back and forth to each other. And it has to be said that one of the monks just looks like a white guy. Like he's there's two very
Yeah.
Laotian monks, and then there's like this white guy with his shaved head. And of course, they both look at him and he's like, "What? Oh, come on, I'm not sleeping in a van another night." And they say, no, 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 no. We're blessed to be in a town with the most generous Buddhist family. And Khan says, "Oh, good company. Blow up the air mattress." So they leave the poor guy behind. So the one monk has to stay while the other two go away. And then they're coming back next Sunday to verify all this stuff. Next thing we see is the Hills, of course, getting in bed, because that seems to be an everyday thing at this point, or an every
Yeah.
episode thing.
Yeah. We get a lot of
We get a lot of
bed
bedroom time.
scenes.
Yeah. Peggy's like, oh, and they thought it was going to be Connie. Well, I always knew my Bobby was destined for greatness. To be perfectly honest, I didn't see Llama. Hank's like, the Buddhists think Bobby is a holy man. Now, that's just sad. She says, Hank, listen to this. Richard Gere is a Buddhist. Hank says, it just keeps getting sadder.
Sadder.
All right, so we are at the Arlen Community College. Bobby and Connie ride up on their bikes, and Connie's like, "Is this what you dragged me out here for? Soft serve ice cream at the student union?" Because they both got ice cream cones with them.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, that was an unscheduled detour. The campus Buddhist club is the main attraction." He opens the door for Connie, which he always does. He goes, "Don't tell anyone I'm a llama. I want to blend in." So they go inside, and to me, it looked like a little culty commune kind of thing, right? Because there's
Yeah,
all
for
these
sure. It looks
people.
kinda
Yeah,
different.
there's all these people in a circle, and there's this one leader who's cutting everybody's hair, which is really odd. I just wrote down teacher ? Leader ? I don't know exactly. She says,
Yeah.
this act symbolizes when the Buddha left his palace to become a monk and cut off his long hair with a sword. Connie says, my parents don't go to things like this. There's no one here they want to meet. She's absolutely right about that,
No,
because
absolutely. For
Khan
sure.
and Min don't go to things unless it's going to be good for them, unless it's going
Yeah,
to
they don't.
promote
Yeah,
them or whatever.
or go upward. Yeah, they're looking for upper
Yeah.
mobility at every opportunity they can get. They go
Oh,
up. Yeah.
absolutely. So now we got all the people there at the Buddhist club, and they're all like going around in a little circle, which it's very like pagan ritual looking thing, and they're just tossing flower petals and stuff like that. It just seems really weird. Connie says, thanks for bringing me, Bobby. He goes, well, thank you for the ice cream cone. Bobby always goes back to food. Always. Doesn't matter what it is. Always goes back to food.
Food is his love language.
So next scene, we're back at Khan's, and that poor monk that got left behind, he's out washing the arrow star in the driveway. Bobby comes up and says, a real llama wouldn't be thinking of supercuts jokes in the middle of a ceremony, right? And he says, well, Lama Sanglug always said the funniest jokes come from the tedium of meditation. He was a wonderfully funny man. He often wore his begging bowl like a hat. Bobby goes, oh, I do that with my cereal bowl. So I guess he eats his cereal and then puts his bowl on his head. So his head just constantly smells like spoiled milk. Is that what we're to assume at this point?
I guess so. I think that's what we're assuming.
The monk says, he goes, Bobby, there's some teaching I think might help you on your journey. He hands him a book. Bobby's like looking through the book and he goes, oh, cool. Wait, no pictures? And then he hands him a Buddhism for Dummies book, and he goes, maybe this will help.
That's actually a real book.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
In the book, it says he gave us one fact out of the book that Buddhist monks and lamas are celibate.
That comes up in a second. Yeah. I knew that part of it. Just as long as they're not eunuchs. I think they go short of being terrible. A eunuch.
I don't think they do that anywhere anymore, in or at least in the modern world.
So now we're going to get some scenes where Bobby is assumed to be a monk, or he's like practicing his monkishness. I don't know how to say that. But we see Bill and Dale out in the middle of the street arguing over a beer, and Dale has his finger stuck in the beer, and Bill is trying to pull it, and they're just wrestling back and forth, and Dale's like, let go of my beer. And you can see that his finger is stuck in the beer hole. He goes, you let go of my beer. He goes, so help me, Bill, don't mess with my trigger finger. Bill's like, oh yeah, what are you gonna do, shoot me with my beer? I don't think so. And then Connie and Bobby walk up, and again, Bobby's kind of getting into this where he thinks he is the monk at this point. He goes, why are friends fighting? Bill says, he put his finger in my beer. Dale says, he dared me to. And then Bobby, of course, with his eternal wisdom, comes up and says, you fight, but both have the same goal, right? And then they're like, so? He goes, Mr. Gribble, I want you to relax and imagine your fingers sliding right out of Mr. Dotree's beer. Dale says, that is the single most ridiculous. And he realizes he's got his finger out and he's pointing it at Bobby. So
Like a
that
Chinese finger
worked.
trap with a
Exactly.
beer can. Yeah.
Exactly. So that part worked. Connie says to him, Chain Wasana-song could never have done that. So she's starting to believe this, right? She's starting to believe that Bobby is this stupid monk. And Bobby says, Chain's a good guy. And she takes Bobby by the arm and they just kind of walk off. Hank has his baseball glove with a baseball. He's in the living room and he's just kind of tossing it to himself and he's singing to himself. He says, take me out to the ball game, buy me some crackers and Apple Jacks. Well, that's not the way it goes, Hank. Number one, I don't think it ever
No, that's
mentions
not how it
Apple
goes.
Jacks. Yeah. But
Yeah.
he's going into Bobby's room, and he's really happy because he's got the ball and the glove, which there's not a whole lot of baseball ever in King of the Hill. It's
Now, there's really
generally
not, which is kind of odd
Yeah.
too, because usually when you're young in Texas, that's when you get the most baseball in. Usually a lot of kids are playing baseball at 8, 9, 10 years old. Usually by the time you get to high school, there's just the guys that were hardcore into it doing it.
Well, the other thing is, usually the people that are Cowboys fans are Rangers fans. I know that's a little bit of a stretch, but those
it's
two,
only a walk between the stadiums. So.
those two tend to go hand in hand. So Hank he's tossing the ball around. He's coming in.
And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Rangers is not referring to the New York Rangers. We're talking about the Texas
Rangers Baseball Club.
Baseball, just in case.
So he's singing about his crackers and Apple Jacks, and he goes into Bobby's room and he sees Bobby cross-leg on the floor, with his fingers put together like like he's the Buddha, and he's kind of humming to himself, and he goes mani pada hum, mani pada hum, and Hank is like, no way, no god dang way. And so Bobby has drawn like a third eye in the middle of his forehead. And that, I think, is what really set Hank off. And not only the chanting, but god dang it, they're Methodist. So
he's done listening to it.
Next thing you see is he's in there rubbing the eye off of Bobby's forehead. Bobby's trying to explain it. He goes, Dad, I was this close to enlightenment. He goes, you call putting paint on your head anything you want, but we're Christians. We don't do that kind of stuff. Why do you think we go to church every Sunday? For fun? He says, well,
that's funny.
Why do we go? Hank's like, well, because we're Methodist. He goes, yeah, I've been meaning to ask you that. What is Methodism anyway? And then Hank gets like this puzzled look on his face because I don't think he can explain it either.
Yeah, he can't.
So the next thing you see is they're both in the pastor's office. What's the pastor's name? I couldn't remember her name.
Oh, pastor is Reverend Stroop.
Stroop. There it is.
Yeah, it's
from
Karen
Minnesota.
Stroop, and she's voiced by the very first episode she appeared in. She was voiced by Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
That was in
I remember
season
that.
1.
Yeah,
I believe it was season 1 or season 2. But Ashley Gardner did her voice from the year 2000 on till 2010.
Gotcha. Well, it's pretty seamless. I mean, you can't tell a lot of difference between the two.
And she actually, when Lucky and Luann get married, and Luann throws the bouquet, she actually tries to catch it but misses and drops it, and then she sneaks back in. Oh, sorry. Karen Stroop misses it. Connie catches the bouquet and then drops it after her mom scolds her, and then Karen sneaks back in and picks it up off the ground.
Yeah,
so
that probably gives us a little insight as to what's going to happen in the new stuff. I mean, if Connie,
for sure,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that's probably if they're anything like I think they are, they'll probably start picking up on those little things that were dropped towards the end of the show. The pastor's trying to explain it to him. She says, Methodism is a rejection of Calvinism. And Hank's like, so Bobby, you heard her. You can't be a llama. Well, she didn't say that, but she's just trying to explain. She goes, oh, you're the boy. Well, congratulations. Hank's like, well, wait, hold on. We're supposed to be on the same team here. Reverend says, of course we are. Bobby, do you love Jesus? Bobby says, with all my heart. Hank's like, Buddhist liar, which that's really intense for Hank to call his own son a Buddhist liar
yeah,
under
that's
his
pretty
breath.
bad. That's rough.
That's
That's really
rough.
rough.
The pastor hears that. She goes, Mr. Hill, I would prefer if Bobby were simply a devout Methodist, but if he can use this experience to connect his spirituality sincerely, he goes, yeah, okay, we're running late. Reverend, I'll see you Sunday. Like, Hank did not get the answer he wanted, so he's like, I got to go. The Reverend says, we could always use an extra heart, the homeless prayer service on Saturday morning. And he goes, I'll mention it to the missus. And he's just done, because he wanted the pastor to say, Bobby, you can't do this. You're not a llama. We're good Methodists and all that. And instead, she came out with, well, if this helps him connect his spirituality to his life. And, she was fine with it. The next thing we see is we're at that playground. Now, I don't know exactly where this playground is, but it's the same one where Bobby went missing and he climbed up into the top of that rocket ship. And then Hank ends up climbing up into the rocket ship too and finds him up there. Bobby is talking to Connie up on top of the rocket ship, and he says, listen to the wind. And they're both in the top of the rocket ship, and he goes, let the wind take the world away. What do you hear, Connie? She goes, I just hear my dad's ignorance and my mom's empty-headed materialism. No, wait, I hear my dad's empty-headed materialism too. That's the loudest.
Yeah.
Bobby says, you expect too much of them, Connie, because he's all on this Buddhist kick now, right? He's talking like a llama. He's pretending to be a llama. Oh yeah,
he's fully invested. And it's kind of funny about this stuff too, because this is the stuff that goes on in Japan, and where they have like the museum with the King of the Hill stuff and stuff like that.
Yep.
It is Bobby. It's mainly centered around Bobby, and Bobby's like the episode where he is Buddhist is what's funny about this, is that this like transcended some TV show in the United States and became like, he also became a cultural icon somewhere else, just based on this connection with the Buddhism.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Bobby says, you expect too much of them, Connie. Sometimes you have to let things be as they are. So your parents don't like me. Yeah, I'm carrying a few extra pounds. She says, easy for you to say. You're a llama. He goes, shh, shh, shh. I'm teaching here. Listen with your heart. The beating of it will drown out everything else. All that's left will be the sound of us. She says, kiss me, sandlug. And they kiss at the top of that rocket. So they're
kiss me, Sanglug.
well, number one, their relationship's getting serious. I mean, ever since the fence, it started getting real serious.
Yeah, it is. That fence, that everything happens at the fence line.
That was the time. Next thing we see is Peggy driving around in her car, and she pulls up to a red light, and there's a bumper sticker on the car in front of her, and she starts to read it. She goes, my child is an honor student at Westview Elementary. Okay, again, here's shitty Peggy coming out, because she pulls up beside that car, rolls her window down, and says to the lady, yeah, well, my child is a god to billions of Asians. And then she just tears off down the street.
Yeah.
What a shitty person she is.
Terrible.
All right, next we're at Tom Landry Middle School, and we're in music class. Shane comes over to Connie and Bobby, and he says, hey, Connie, I noticed that you couldn't stop looking over at me. Shane's kind of a dick.
He's a dick. I don't really like Shane.
She says, I kept hearing flats. I assume they were coming for you. Bobby's like, no, come on, you two. Again, being the Buddha or whatever. He says, if one of you plays flats and the other plays sharps, we'll have a perfect harmony. Shane says, that doesn't even make sense, nitwit. Connie responds with, shut up. You're just jealous because you weren't chosen as llama. Shane says, I'm glad I'm not a llama. The Shane train stops for the ladies. She says,
what that means.
She says, what is that supposed to mean? He goes, llamas can't have wives. They can't even have girlfriends. And he walks off. That's when it hits Connie. Connie says, is that true, Bobby? Bobby's like, oh, no, it can't be. I mean, how do they get new llamas if llamas can't? Oh, no, reincarnation. And then it fades to the next commercial. All right, so we'll take the second commercial break there, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Rusty, did you know that you could be putting oil and chemicals in your coffee?
No, I didn't know that.
I mean, I love coffee creamer, but I don't think I've ever turned a bottle around to actually see what's inside. You know, recently I did, and I found out many of my favorite creamers, like especially the one my wife used to use, they contain ingredients I would never intentionally add to my coffee cup, like canola oil, potassium phosphate, whatever that is.
Terrible.
Artificial flavors. I can't take artificial flavors a lot of the time.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm
A lot
good
of
on
them
any
just taste-
flavoring.
they taste
I
gross.
don't like flavors in my coffee. I like the earth and flavor of coffee.
I mean, I love coffee. Don't get me wrong. I do love it. I just I don't like all that crap in my coffee, right?
Yeah, no, who does that?
So let me tell you about Laird Superfoods then. They have better ingredients, amazing taste, and functional benefits. Laird Superfood creamers are crafted from the highest quality, all-natural, real food ingredients. All Laird products are sustainably sourced and thoroughly tested to ensure that you're incorporating the cleanest, finest fuel into your routine. Now, they're all natural. They've got whole food ingredients. They contain naturally occurring MCTs from coconut oil, and everybody tells you coconut oil is good for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no artificial flavors, no colors, no additives, no sugar from highly refined corn syrup. So that's a big deal right there. If you take one thing you do every day and make it better, Laird developed his creamer himself to stay powered for a day on the waves. He was a big wave surfer, Laird Hamilton was, and he needed a morning fuel that could allow him to spend the entire day chasing the ultimate wave. So he made this creamer, and it is it's crazy, crazy good. Laird sources high-quality plant-based ingredients globally and puts an emphasis on U.S. sources whenever possible. They aim to source responsibly and sustainably and believe that the foods you consume should be as good for the earth as they are for you. They have honest and transparent products and labels. If you try it, you won't go back. They have functional superfood creamers, instant lattes, and prebiotic greens. They have a variety of snacks and supplements full of wholesome plant-based ingredients to keep you charged for wherever life takes you. So to get a deal on Laird Superfoods, I need you to go to zen.ai BWAAA King of the Hill. So that's zen.ai/BWAAA King of the Hill. And your offer code there is BWAAA. So Laird Superfoods makes a better creamer that keeps you powered all day, and it's better for you, the earth, and your coffee. What do you say, Rusty? You want to go get some coffee?
Coffee.
Hey, Rusty.
Yeah.
Did you know that dehydration is the leading cause of daytime fatigue?
Oh, no.
I don't know about you, but like 2:30, 3 o'clock, I just hit a wall almost every day. I was shocked to learn that even mild dehydration can cause headaches, muscle weakness, brain fog, but luckily there's a cure.
Oh, there is?
Actually, I should have said there's a solution. It's called Cure. Cure Hydration. The Cure Hydration is an oral rehydration solution, or ORS, that contains the perfect balance of electrolytes. We know how important that is because plants crave it.
Super important.
And glucose to help your body absorb water and rehydrate quickly. The formula is made with all natural ingredients like coconut water, powder, and pink Himalayan salt. Whoopee. And it is free from artificial flavors, sweeteners, and preservatives. Cure Hydration is vegan, gluten-free, and non-GMO. That makes it a great option for anyone with dietary restrictions and preferences. The packets that they give you, they're convenient, they're easy to use. You just mix them with water and drink. They're perfect for on-the-go, travel, or anytime you need quick hydration. Hydration is more than just drinking water, Rusty. It is, that's what Lauren Picasso, a lifelong endurance athlete, discovered as she struggled to stay hydrated no matter how much water she drank. I've known people like that. My wife drinks so much water, it's crazy. Lauren found Cure, a science-backed electrolyte drink mix to make hydration easy for everyone. Cure believes that hydration should be simple and effective, but also clean and natural. That's why they only use the highest ingredients and quality plant-based stuff to avoid any artificial or harmful additives. They're committed to transparency and honesty. All of their ingredients are clearly listed on their website and packaging, and they're always happy to answer any questions or concerns. So are you ready to combat dehydration?
Absolutely.
You can try Cure today and feel the difference for yourself. Use your code
BWAAA. Sorry, I blanked.
You're good. For 20% off your order. Try Cure today and feel the difference for yourself. Use our special code
BWAAA
for 20% off your order. Your coupon will be activated at checkout. Try Cure Hydration. Stop drying out.
All right, so we are back, and now we're at the Get In, Get Out Mini Mart and Connie and Bobby are over on the side, and they're sharing a Slurpee or a slushy or whatever you want to call it. They got the 2 straws in it, and they're thinking over this whole llamas can't get married, they can't have girlfriends thing. And Bobby's like, I got it. I'm leaving the Buddha hood. Connie says,
I'm
Bobby,
leaving the Buddha hood.
the Buddha hood. Connie says, Bobby, I won't let you. I want to be with you too, but it's not our choice. If you're Sanglug, you're Sanglug. It's meant to be. He goes, well, I can always tank the test. I'll pick a bell. Who owns a bell? She says, well, what if it is the bell? He goes, I'll pick another cane. They wouldn't make it the same thing twice, but she's probably right. She says, Bobby, don't make this a game. If you don't take the test tomorrow, I'm going to be wondering for the rest of my life. Like if you're the llama, and if you are, I'll be disrespecting Buddha every day. I can't live with that. She gets up with the drink and she leaves. Next thing we see is we're in the alley with Dale, Bill, Boomhauer, plus the monk who had to stay behind. Bill says, oh, so how long you been celibate? And the monk says 3 years. He goes, 4th year is the toughest one. I think that is a fantastic joke by Bill.
That is a great joke. Yeah.
Hank comes up and he's pretty angry, and he goes, hey, you go tell my boy he's not a llama right now. The monk says, I can't tell him that because it's not up to me. There's a Buddhist saying, as the wheel follows the ox that draws the cart, the wind cannot overturn a mountain. I don't know what that means. He goes, and Hank says, you're talking like a song from the Lion King. Stop that. Doesn't make any sense.
That's good. That's funny.
The monk says, or does it make perfect sense? Hank's like, what the? See, that's the type of, I'm going to kick your ass. I mean, he's completely out of stuff. So he's just going to kick his ass at this point.
My ass is going to be kicked, then it will be kicked.
That's right. And Hank's like, what? And he's fed up. He's done with this llama stuff. All right, so now we're back at Khan's house, and Khan says, to the celibacy of the monks, and he's making a toast with wine, and Min says, the celibacy of monks, so they're making this toast or whatever, and then the monk holds up his water or milk, I couldn't tell which one it was. Connie's there, and she's just like super sad. Khan looks over and goes, oh, there, Khan Jr., we know how you must feel, but really, you just dodge a chubby white bullet. It's rough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
That is rough.
So the next thing we see is Bobby is back in his room, and he's got incense burning, and he's super sad. He's got all the lights turned down, and he sits like a Buddha, and he starts chanting. He's oh mani padme hum. Oh,
that means
mani.
I meant to mention this earlier.
Yeah.
That means it's called it means the jewel is the lotus. That's what
I don't know what that means, but sure.
Lotus. I'm not really sure, but it's that Om Mani Padme Hum that's used in
Star Wars.
Well, yeah, that probably too. But what's it called? Yoga. It's to the mantra is supposed to transform your impure body, speech, and mind into the pure body, speech, and mind of Buddha.
Oh, that makes sense. I guess
bring
that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, at least they
cultural
pulled
phrase for
that in,
enlightenment.
you know, I mean, at least they're trying to be respectful of the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So Bobby's like chanting to himself, and he goes, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Lama Sanglug, I miss Connie so much. Wait, I'm Lama Sanglug. What should we do? Give us a sign. He like looks down in his shirt, which is the weirdest thing because he's like looking at himself for a sign. And then outside the door, you hear Hank, I'm the great Lama Sanglug, and you are not. Forget about that dang Buddhist hooey. I command you. Bobby goes up to the door. He opens the door. Dad, what are you doing? He goes, nothing. I was just walking by, and I thought I heard, don't take the test tomorrow. He goes, well, I have to. He goes, what do they got on you, boy? He says, I'm in a jam here. Connie says she'll have to dump me if I don't take the test. He goes, well, we definitely can't have that. And so they both kind of sit on the bed, and they, that's where they hash things out. Bobby's like, that's why I'm praying my guts out, but I'm not getting any answer. I don't even know what to do. Hank says, everything's going to be all right. He snuffs out the incense that was still burning. He goes, so just hang in there. And then you get like this huge pregnant pause between the two of them. They're just staring at each other. And again, this is one of those things where Hank just has no idea what to say. He's trying his best. And he goes, okay, don't forget to brush before he leaves. And then he just leaves the room. We're back in the Hill bedroom. They're getting ready for bed. Hank is airing out his socks, which is weird. He watches Peggy go into the bathroom, and he says, Okay, here we go. And then he kneels down beside the bed to pray like a little, like an 8-year-old or whatever, he's just down on his knees. And Lord, Hank Hill here, Methodist. Sorry, I'm missing the homeless prayer service. Now about Bobby, I'm pretty sure we're on the same page about this llama thing. I was kind of hoping that you could do just have him fail the test tomorrow. Like had him fail so many other tests in the past. Oh, and starving kids. I got to go. Amen. And he jumps into bed. Now we're back in Bobby's room. He's watching the monks set everything up outside. They're putting the rug down and they're putting all those items on it. And you hear, "Hey, Bobby Hill." And so he has to come out. He goes, "Look, I got a statue of Buddha." This is Khan. He's holding up a statue of Buddha to Bobby and goes, "Look, I got a statue of Buddha, separated at birth or what?" So Dale, being part of the crowd, he goes, "So if he picks it right, he gets to keep all those prizes." Bill's like, "Uh-huh. What if he picks wrong?" And I don't know what this means. Maybe you know what this means, or maybe Artie told us what this means. But Bill says, "What if he picks the wrong thing?" And Dale says, "Cap snaffler. Snaffles caps off all size jugs, bottles, and jars. It really, really works." Which I can only guess is like a as seen on TV kind of product or whatever. But I don't know why he just pulled that out and started saying
actually, looking it up, a cap snaffler. Let's see. Let's Google it real fast.
Cap snaffler. While
While
you're looking that up, the
it says here it's Snaffle's caps, and apparently it's an
what's that
older
mean?
it's an older product that looks like it would be from the 60s or 70s. What it is, it's a piece of rubber that when you set it on a cap, it fits any size.
Oh, I see.
And when you cramp down on it, it allows you to take it's
So it's
mainly
like
a tool for women. It's a tool that was pretty much targeted and made for women in the kitchens to be able to open up anything.
It's like those
while
grandma
the man
jar
was at
openers,
work.
right?
Pretty much that, yeah.
Okay.
So like while the
Okay.
man's at work. Nowadays, what you have is the one that I have was made as a gift for me, but it's just two saw blades pretty much on a piece of wood, and it fastens underneath the counter, and you just slide the jar to the size you need
to open it up. Yeah.
Like a real country homemade one.
Sure. Well, they work.
Oh, it does, yeah.
The head monk, of course, all this stuff is set out. He says, "Okay, well, this is the final test. Please choose an item on this rug." And Bobby is like, I mean, he looks around a lot because he doesn't want to pass the test, but he wants to give it his best and all this kind of stuff. And so he looks around and he sees a mirror laying on the rug, and he goes, "Okay, so I can pick anything on the rug." The monk says, "Yes." He sees the reflection of Connie in the mirror, and he goes, "I pick Connie right there in the mirror." And Connie's like, "Oh my." And then Con says, "Hey, make him pick for real. He's cheating." The monk says, "There's no cheating. Test has been taken. He is chosen." Con is extremely upset. Connie says, "Oh, Bobby." And then Hank's like, "Whoo." Peggy says, "Do you think maybe I should pick?" He goes, "No." And so Bobby and Connie walk off together. They've solved this whole thing. He's not going to be the monk, but he has chosen Connie. It's really sweet, the way he chooses her out of the mirror. It's pretty smart of Bobby, honestly, to get out of this whole thing. The other monk, he kind of talks to the main monk, and he goes, "But that was Sunlug's mirror." He goes, "Yes, I know, but he didn't pick it." He goes, "But he used it." He goes, "Tough call, but it's mine and I made it." And that's it. They all walk off. The whole damn thing's over. So Bobby has chosen Connie. The monks are out of his system, and everybody is done. So I think that's the last we hear of Sanglug.
That is the last of Sanglug.
So that takes us to the credits, and then after the credits, we hear Khan once again. Yeah, Buddhist, whatever, monks. Yeah. So it was a good episode. It went really fast. I didn't really remember it because, again, it's one of those filler episodes.
Yeah,
but it was
I didn't
good
see
nonetheless.
his notes. I should have looked at his notes when I was talking about the Cap Snaffler. He did have notes on the Cap Snaffler. He said it's a real product made and sold by a company called Ronco, which was made famous for its unique products, which were promoted by a founder named Ron Popeil.
Popeil, yeah, Popeil.
Yeah.
Ron
cool.
Popeil,
I've never heard of that company before.
Ron Popeil was the guy who he had Ronco, and he made the Pocket Fisherman, He made Mr.
Oh, okay.
Microphone.
He's Pocket Fisherman. I know
He's
the
Pocket
Pocket
Fisherman.
Fisherman because it was
He's
that rod and reel
Uh-huh.
that looked like
Yeah.
it almost looked like
You
one
just,
of
like,
those dog
flip it out.
leashes,
Yeah.
and then you flopped it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also made the he's got the set it and forget it chicken rotisserie thing. Like he made all of his money.
Oh,
in-
he did the first chop and
Yeah,
slap too.
that's
the
right.
Chop-O-Matic.
That's right.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Chop-O-Matic and the
He was
Dial-O-Matic.
huge. He was huge in like as seen on
Wow.
TV items. That's how he made all his money. All
That's
right.
crazy.
That is it for this time. Rusty, you want to tell them where they can find us?
Yeah, you can find us at roguemedianetwork.com/BWAAKOTH, or you can find us at BWAAKOTH.com. And don't forget to go over to our patreon.com/BWAAKOTH and click on that supporter role if you want to support us and help us out. And also, you can find us on youtube.com/BWAAKOTH. And that's where you can find this video if you're listening on audio.
You got it.
And want to support us on YouTube.
Yeah, if any of you can help us out on Patreon, we really appreciate it. It does cost money to do this show, and we thank you for all your support. All the support we've already gotten has been fantastic, and we're looking forward to more. You guys are great. Thank you again for being here, and we'll see you again next week for season 4, episode 19. Getting real close to the end.
Almost. What is it? 22 episodes?
I think it's 22. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. We're like 4 episodes out, and if I'm not mistaken, we've already passed our 150th episode of this show.
Yeah.
So there you go. So we're moving on through.
All right. We'll see you again Friday.
We Matanye.
We Matanye indeed.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.